Hello everybody, this is Joanna from the Early Morning Ascension show. I wanted to do a celestial reading. I'm really challenging myself to do something different every day, so my videos will be varied. Sometimes they might be short, sometimes they might be a bit longer. And yeah, we have our Lionsgate tomorrow, so just be really gentle with yourselves. Don't challenge yourself to learn or read a lot of books. Just take in the energy. We've already had lots of really powerful energies hitting our planet with the solar flares. So that means that those that are really deep in their wounding or their shadow, they will be reactive. So just see beyond the behavior and just send light and ground. So you'll need to be calm and patient with those that are in their shadow. Just make sure that you're keeping your fields cleared and protected, and not taking on anything that isn't yours. So just big reminders for those times of the year that we do have those really profound light bathings on our planet, which will affect those that are really deep in their shadow, that need to bring all of those woundings and those purgings and those memories up forward to be cleared and cleansed. So just know that. But so yeah, we're focusing on celestial, which is one of my favorite. The celestials have always been an incredible connection for me. I have my scar here from when I was 5. The Pleiadians adjusted my heart chakra, and that left a mark. And so that's always, and I did a post this morning on our community tab of tattoos, celestial tattoos or consciousness tattoos. And they're, as you become into the soul fragment harmonization, we've talked about a few times on our videos, as you connect and harmonize the soul fragments, you'll be receiving little tattoos. And depends on your consciousness level too. I can see a light ship in the sky because my consciousness has been prepared. I have different imprints and implants in my various systems. My teams are connected with me in different ways, so I see things because my consciousness level is as different as other conduit. But practice looking at your skin as you're moving through your ascension cycles, and as you're harmonizing your soul fragments, you can see various tattoos. I have one. I have a blue ring that goes all the way around my arm. Right there, you see that blue ring? And then a little ways up, there's another ring that goes around my arm. And these just came this year. And then there's little beings that you can see, the little imprints of the beings. So you see that face that's right there? You see that face? I can't put my finger at the same time. But there's little faces. And these are all the beings of your tribes. They're the beings that you've harmonized, the little energies that I call them consciousness tattoos. I've agreed, you see those tattoos right there on my elbow? They're everywhere. I have these everywhere. But these are because that's my agreement with God. That's my agreement with Source Creator. And because I belong with so many multiverse species, and when I say I walk with the legions, I really walk with the legions. They've imprinted me with all of these beautiful tattoos because it's who I am. I'm harmonizing with their energies. It's a part of me. It's my soul fragments. And so that's why when I do my multiverse species shows, they're a part of me. It's a part of my energies. I read vibrations, I read fields, and there's going to be lots of beings and lots of energies that I've never channeled before. We've brought these ones forward a couple of times, the Caledonians. They were the first ones to pop in when I asked for the channel. I'm just going to see, I see a little tattoo right there. I'm going to see, it's weird working from this angle. So just check on your skin. You'll see all these little tattoos in the beings. Usually the little tattoos that you see, like when I'm looking at them, I'm looking at my tattoo right there. And there's a little species tattoo. They're like little bears, little owls. Sometimes they're animals, sometimes they're beings that you work with, and they're beings that you have with you. And just like this was a tattoo that the Pleiadians, we agreed that they would have, I would leave this, they would leave this on me. The adjustment that they didn't have to leave a mark, but they left it because I would later in life ask about it. And of course, all the doctors that I went to, they didn't know what it was. They had been diagnosed with many different things, but of course it wasn't. It was the scar of the chakra adjustment, because my sensings and my intuitive gifts were far too advanced for the dysfunction in the setting that I was in, and it was really, really harmful for me. And it would have been very, very harmful for me. I wouldn't have been able to fulfill my mission if I didn't have that heart chakra adjustment. And then later in life, when I did awaken, the Pleiadians told me what that was about. So you have these things on your body that just show up sometimes, especially when you're going through a really big healing. Your teams are, like when I went through what I did for the past 6 years, my teams really have been doing a lot of healing. And you'll wake up some mornings with things on your bodies. Your body is the difference between the physical body in and of itself and processing the energies. there is a variance sometimes, because your body is physical, it's matter, it's density, and it can only process a certain amount of energy at a time, especially if it's really high vibrational and they're doing a lot of healing to your systems because of the damage. So that's what happened to me. And I would just wake up sometimes with scratches and things, because the body just has to purge the density. And so sometimes it will show as a little mark or a scar or a scratch. So there are different things and different reasons why. Most often than not, it's just the variance between what your body has to release really quickly, because there's a lot of stuff going on in your dream time. That's why I've suggested, when you're going to bed at night, do your healing with your teams, do your health work. I do my health work every night with my teams, because it just eases and it sets an intention for my body, the cells, my DNA, my bones, my skin, everything is harmonizing as the Christ, the body of the Christ. And when I say the body of the Christ, it has nothing to do with religion. It is the light body of the higher self. The light body is harmonizing into the matter body. And so I work with that. And in that, I do a lot of healing at night, because I intend it, and I intend different things with my team. So if you want one of those sessions with me, you can book down below. I would suggest doing the 90-minute session, because the 90-minute session will get you activations, sound healing. I'll give you tips about different herbs, different colors, whatever the teams bring up. The teams will bring up whatever is most important. Sometimes I have the teams bring up herbs, or they'll have somebody look into if they have something in their chemistry that's out of alignment. So it might be to get blood work done, some things like that. Whatever they say, I say and I offer. And sometimes it's Akashic wounding. They'll show me, I show myself the various parts of the Akashic timelines that need to be purged or harmonized, usually soul fragments, and usually the experiences you're working with in this reality. Everything is about this reality. So whatever it is you're going in this reality are usually connected to the soul fragments that need to be harmonized. And so that's a special role that the conduits do. We have access to the multidimensional fields within the celestial realms, the alien realms, the multiverse realms, the multi-species realms now. And this is why the councils of light have now modified who they are to me specifically. And they're now the systems of light, because we are manifesting species energies for, it depends what your consciousness level is. I am a leader, and I'm an intuitive, a teacher and a healer, and a leader for the multiverse ascension. I'm working with many different hybridized councils, galactic councils, alien councils, because of my degree of expertise. And so the species that I'm in connection with are of all different forms, bodies, realms, and they're really excited to work with me, because I have so much experience with human psyche. And because we have so many different hybridized energies on our planet now, whether it's plant and the biosphere that I talk about often, because that's how they learn how humanity is working with the biosphere, because there's lots of beautiful things going on with the biosphere that most 90% of people don't understand. So if you want to book a session with me about the biosphere, if you're excited about that, then just make a session. I've had many classes in the past about the biosphere, so you might find one of our videos. There was something there, Spirit, you want to go back to that? Yes, the multiverse species. And we've been talking about this because it's so important for you to understand yourselves as multiverse experiences. And Joanna's been offering in her classes about the operation of who you are as a soul. The operation of who you are as a soul is allowing yourself to culminate all that you are as a being of many multidimensional facets. And those facets of you don't normally oscillate, or they operate in the realms that they belong in as forms. And so you can call in those aspects of you. So they're showing me right now. They're showing me right now like a ball and like the pod, if we say, and then the fingers and those extensions are those aspects of your multiverse that are coming into harmonize. And so they're showing me aspects of various animal species that I'm able to connect with and tune into the knowledge and the wisdoms and the unity with those species. And they can really help us and assist us on how to navigate greater earth shifts, how to tune into different medicines and herbs and things like that, as well as greater union and symbiosis with them, because we need to learn that. We really do need to learn the unity with all species. It helps us become better aligned with our first contact. if we're not able to understand the unity with our own species on our planet, we won't be able to be unified with any species that are going to be landing here. And that's why I'm a teacher and a conduit and an ambassador for first contact and first landings, because I understand the multidimensional threads. As a conduit, I can read the various threads and the various potentialities and the possibilities that they send me through those threads based on the dimension of where people are at vibrationally and the consciousness level that is at within a bandwidth of the third dimension, with a bandwidth of the fourth dimension, with a bandwidth of the fifth dimension. That's what I'm able to teach between the multidimensional frequencies and availabilities of wisdoms or intelligences, or where anybody is at. Those that are at the very, and there's no judgment on any of it at all. But don't, again, and especially when you're in Lionsgate portals and big portals, or you know you're purging a lot, or you know you're going through a dark night of the soul, don't press yourself to learn things when you're in those releases. Your body is doing the best it can to release density. Just allow yourself to accept and surrender, accept and surrender, accept and surrender. That is what releasing period is like, and that's why we wrote about it in our books. So if you want a session with me to talk about your ascension cycle and what that means for you and how you can better handle your ascension cycle, and that would help you out a lot, because it lets you feel a bit more self-confident and more grounded and more self-empowered to know how to work with yourself as a multidimensional being of light, as an energy body, as a vessel that's constantly communicating. And those of you that are my clients, you're doing a wonderful job, and never ever feel that you're not catching up, or you're not doing your best work, if you will. If your intention is to simply know yourself as love, to simply harmonize what needs to be harmonized, and to release what needs to be released, those simple intentions just allow you to flow in their highest and your best. And so just work with spirit every day with that. That you're only here to do the best that you can do. Your body has its own unique pacing. Your body has its own unique temperament. And so don't push yourself. Never ever push yourself, because you will be entering in those times where you're not prepared to see the energies. You're not prepared to experience the energies of what they're meant to teach you. And that's why I've been a proponent and an advocate for speaking out about the interference and the dominance and the fear and the control with energy manipulation, the abuse of energy through spell work, the cult activity where they use mind control and dominance over people's thought forms, and the dominance and the things that governments have used with the numbing down and the dumbing down of humanity. Those are very, very dangerous when people are going through dark night of the soul releases. And if they're not practiced in how to protect their bodies and their fields, if they're not practiced in understanding their energy fields and how they tap into different energies, when their fields start opening up, if they're meant to come and be an energy healer or an Akashic reader for the benevolence of the greater good, the energies that they can, and this is all planned with your higher selves as well, nothing to fear about, because your higher self will provide those experiences for you. But you will have those experiences, and if you haven't worked through those fears, and if you haven't done the clearing, and you don't know what your ascension cycles are, and you're not communicating with your guides, and you're tapped out, if you will, you're not in balance, those experiences of those energies that are meant to be accepted and meant to be honored, and then knowing how to navigate those darker energies, knowing how to navigate those beings that like to play and like to shapeshift and like to snake and sneak their way into your fields or your chakras or your womb or your dreams. All of those energies are meant to teach you how to navigate with certainty and with calling in your higher self and calling in your light. You'll know those experiences if you've had very karmic, deep relationships that have been toxic and dysfunctional. And sometimes those karmic energies have had gifts, psychic gifts that they've abused and used. And usually when you step away from those experiences, you'll realize how healthy you are, because you're not attached to those very foggy, abusive, psychological, mental, spiritual circumstances where they abuse information, they manipulate stories, and they place you within nothing but mess and confusion energetically and vibrationally. And those are very damaging. And that's why I've been an advocate to speak out about it, because there's many people in the community that I came from that abused every level of energy and information and fooled a lot of people. There was spell work being done on many people in the community, many frauds and many signatures and things that were going on every level. There's so much corruption, just to continue the corrupted false stories. But luckily, because I was a psychic, and as I moved away from it, all of the information and all the experiences that I was experiencing started to come to the forefront, and why I was experiencing what I was, because there was a lot of stealing and thieving going on. And the corrupt underground some of the communities in the underground, they know how to do, a lot of them work with, even in the entertainment industry or sporting, they use sacrificing and bidding in the pyramids just to gain control and to pay off who they want in power and who they want in a title or who they want in a movie or who they want in a record recording. So a lot of that stuff goes on. And again, it's not necessary. It is immediate karma to everybody involved, whether you're the one paying, whether you're the one casting the spell or the voodoo. Everybody involved in those type of experiences of sacrifice, underground bidding to control outcomes, to manipulate outcomes, everybody involved is immediate karma. There is a zero tolerance now. And because the corruption on our planet, the breaking away of the 3D grids is the corruption. It's not needed. To manifest what you want to desire, usually a lot of those things occur because it's a lack of self. If they're using their benevolent gifts of spirit of the soul, walking as a soul becoming, you don't need all of that stuff because it's your magnetic attraction of what you're naturally really good at will just magnetize those to you. It's a beautiful experience of divine perfection. All of creation is. It's an equal balanced equation. If you're offering the purity of who you are, if you're offering the genuineness of who you are, you don't need anything outside of you to bid for you, to do a sacrifice for you, and all of those really, really bad, corruptive experiences that are not necessary. It won't work. It's immediate karma, and that is what you pass down to your generations. Nobody misses karma. It doesn't matter how much money anybody has. It doesn't matter how much clout someone thinks they have. Everybody will be called out, and we're seeing it every week. Every week there will be people called out. It doesn't matter their status. They'll be called out. It's not necessary. Creational reality is you creating with spirit, just you in spirit. You have unique gifts just for you, and you can manifest everything just by being you, the authenticity of being you. That's all that's needed. It's all that ever was needed. But we've been so superficially focused because there's been so much damage in the lack of self. There's been no self-design. There's been no connection with spirit. There's been no connection with our chakras. There's been no teachings about who we are as conscious beings, multidimensional beings, always connected with source, in source of all things. We've had such a backwards, upside down perspective of what we were taught, what we were told, what we were shown, that it doesn't connect us with anything that we are. So 5D will be absolute connection with who we are as spirit. Children should be learning it before they even walk. You are a divine being. You have chakra systems. You're a multidimensional being. Learn how to use your energy. Learn how to work with the commandmentship of your energy so that nobody fucks or messes with you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, vibrationally, or sexually. Your energy is your energy. Your life force is your life force. Your body, your tissues, your bones, everything is your commandment. Nobody has authority over you in any way. So you don't ever have to worry about, anybody that would do black magic on you. If you do, then you're meant to experience it because you're meant to help people. There's been very few people that have talked about it in the ways that I have and the healings that I have and how to maintain and sustain and create the higher empowerment, because everybody is meant to live in sovereignty. You're meant to negotiate every emotion. You're meant to negotiate every energy. There's nothing to fear. It's all the all. Just like religions, it's all the all. It is all. You're meant to negotiate. You're meant to explore. You're meant to express. You're meant to experience everything without judgment. And then just call it in to harmonize it, see the story before you, work through it, work through the fears, work through the perspectives, and then open up to the grander version of you. Ascension is a cyclical progression. You're a soul. You're meant to use the gifts of your soul. You're meant to tap into the gifts of your soul and read and sense and tap into energies in different ways. That's why we offer what we offer. You can't awaken overnight and then be in 5D. Your body would literally self-combust because it couldn't be able to process the light. There would be disassociation because the prefrontal cortex has not been prepared. And especially if you're not working with your gifts and working with your teams prepare you every step of the way. That's why we've also been an advocate of offering online those that are already in the spiritual arena. There's never any competition. So if you feel there's competition, then get to the lack of self, because competition is always a lack of self, and that's fear. So get to those wounds and sort through them. The spiritual community, there is no competition because everybody comes with unique gifts. As we've talked about a million times before, the soul blueprints are very unique. What you're prepared for, what you're trained for, your intention of excitement of who you are as the sacred child, that is how God unfolds blessings for you, because God knows why you were born. God breathed you. God breathed that excitement in you because that's what's needed in the grander design, the grander plan. Nobody knows that but God and your guides and your teams. And you have an infinite number of teams that switch out every time you have a new growth period because they need to grow as you need to grow. And you call in different aspects of yourself that are needed for that next expansive phase. Every phase you should be expanding and growing in different gifts, skills, and talents of your expression and your experience. And the exploration of who you are is source. That's why stagnancy is so very harmful, and dominance and control, because it closes down the cells, it closes down your fields. So just practice on opening up and allowing, and then working on the fears as they come forward. It's really very simple. But to go through the dark nights of the soul and to go through all that dark, toxic crap, especially if you have those that are, I think my team said there was 50 plus people that were involved in the corruption of not wanting me to go forward and be me fully and teach and express and live as the being that I'm meant to live in. You know, there was 50 plus people at any given time that were working against me being who I am. Discrimination on 50 counts, harassment on 50 counts, fraud on 50 counts. Those counts are everybody involved that chose to be silent, everybody involved that chose to add their signature to the plot and the plan to silence me. Because I come with great gifts that help people activate the soul of who they are, that help activate the genius of who they are. And I found it funny that, you know, I didn't even read the post or anything, but there was a thing this weekend about Jennifer Aniston, about her anti-Semitism comment, and or she'd like to anti-Semitism post or something, and the details don't matter. But I left a few comments as to the higher consciousness that we have, and of those people that had judgments about her, you know, and she ended up taking some time off, you know, the social platforms. You know, and a media rep involved in all that kind of stuff. It's so silly. You know, I'm sure the media reps were probably wanting to get all over that. But as we awaken into the allness of who we are, things like that will become less and less important, because, again, religion is just a way we navigate one experience in that vibrational consciousness. As you raise to a higher vibrational consciousness, all is all. If somebody chooses to explore and experience an anti-Semitic moment, they have that right. They're human. They're a multi-dimensional verse human. We are meant, just as me, you can't judge anything, because I went through the most darkest satanic hell experiences and attacked by beings that were, nobody would understand the levels of demons and entities and beings that I faced. So, but you can't say that because I faced those, I'm a Satan. You have to experience those moments to know how to heal it. You're going to have a shadow moment. You're going to have a shadow moment where you're going to have those parts of you that were anti-Semitic a couple of lifetimes ago. And then you have to bring those in and, without judgment, harmonize it. So the words and the things, the boxes and the clothes we place on things means nothing. Underneath it all, we are all human, we are all God, we are all one. And again, the multiverse species, we have to get to understand that all is all. How can we judge somebody when they have a like to an anti-Semitic statement, when we're going to be faced with beings that aren't even humanoid? Would we judge that? Would we not like them just because they're standing before us? All is all, people. So release the judgments about religions, release the judgments about who believes in what and what believes in who. All is all. And if you want to explore Satanism, just stay in your own lane. If you want to explore Presbyterian, explore it. Just stay in your own lane. Don't harm children. Don't guide people to harm people. Don't guide people. Again, it's always the greater good. It's very easy, very simple. Treat people as you want to be treated. Basic common sense. Once you start interfering with people, that's immediate karma. And I'm here to call out what is being done behind the scenes. I am people's walking karma, because I stand in the purity of truth. God gave me these experiences to see what goes on behind closed doors. I call shit out. I'm here to shake shit up so we can clean it up and we can make it better and aligned with the heavens, so that people are receiving care, so that children are receiving healthy homes that are safe for them and not being used as sexual tools. And who is it of anybody's right to give any star a bad rep just because they liked a post? They have no right. It's none of their business. If she wants to explore whatever she wants to explore, that's her human right. And then she'll sit and she'll reflect, boy, I learned something from that. And she has that right to go into her soul and find that exploration within herself. Just like that social post about Ariana Grande and how she looked. It's up to nobody. Stop judging. Everybody stop judging. Stay in your own lane, go within and focus on who you are. You're meant to explore all things. A truly awakened person is somebody that absolutely knows a little bit about all things and all beliefs, all perspectives. There's 8 billion people on this planet. 8 billion people have 8 billion different perspectives. And when you go into the fifth dimension, there are no religions. There's no religions. It's just a way you chose in that tiny little moment of time to experience your experience as you, your exploration of you, your expression of you. And if you chose to have that expression as a Catholic for 20 years, you chose that as a Catholic. You learned a lot. So accept it, honor it. Even if it had bad experiences, honor it. It chose you, and it chose you as you chose it, and it's a part of who you are. So own that as part of your story. So don't judge anything, especially if it's religion. Our world has been so corrupt because of the boxes and the definitions and the words we call religion. We see a person before us and we start speaking of these wonderful, profound things that is all about oneness and unity and light. And all of a sudden you put a box and a definition on it because it doesn't match what you know about God. You were taught about God from a book and a box. That's not it. If you don't love thy neighbor, then that's not spirit. You're working from an ego perspective. You're working from a separative perspective. You're working from I'm greater than you. You're separating. Spirit is the creator of all life, from the insects to the ants, to the dogs, to the mountains, to the trees, to the breath that you breathe. So who is it on anybody's role to say anybody is anything just because they put a like on a comment? She has her right to explore whatever the fuck she wants. If she's going to ascend and if she's going to evolve, she would want to get herself into whatever that she finds it interesting at that moment. Maybe she's healing something within her. So she has to feel, yeah, I remember that. I felt that for a minute. She's healing part of her soul. So it's nobody to comment on anything. Stay in your own lane. Work on your own shit. Because you're going to have a dark night of soul you got to work on. And you'll be called out for the same stuff. So everybody needs to relax and let go. And everybody needs to have more compassion for everybody because it's unity. Because you will be meeting those beings, as they showed me in my little write-up here on my channel. You're going to be meeting those beings that will stand in front of you one day and they're not going to be humanoid. Will you discard them? Will you say that you're greater than them just because you're in a human body? I wouldn't if I were you. Because they're probably a seventh dimensional consciousness and they can probably, flip you over backwards before you even have your breath. So be very wary about your attitudes and your judgments and your arrogance. Work on the wounding within it. And a lot of religions will be rewritten because a lot of them are staunch in ego, dogma, misogyny, and a lot of oligarchy. And that's not oneness at all. That's separatism. And every religion will have to look at itself. If you stand and you preach something on that stage, is it unity and oneness? Is it aligned with the fifth dimensional frequency of the universal laws of one? And if you can say that, good on you, keep going. But what do you do behind closed doors? Do you practice that as well? Face it. Spirit will call you out. Your higher self, your guides will call you out. You cannot hide anything. From here on out, nobody can hide anything. Everything will be fully transparent. And that's why people like myself, as conduits, as alignments with the systems of light, whatever it is that you need to realign to 5D, realign it. Everybody on this planet has their right to explore whatever it is they want because they're healing the soul. They're accepting their soul. If they want to put a like on a comment because that's how they feel at that moment, so be it. Get out of their fucking lane. Let them explore who they want to explore themselves as long as she's not hurting or harming anybody and getting in anybody else's lane, she has her right to explore and to say and to express herself. Is a truth. It's a higher truth of her. Let her explore that higher truth of who she is. Just like what I'm saying is a vibrational truth. I have a higher vibrational truth than those that are working in their little tiny box of who they see themselves to be. That's okay. Stay in your little tiny box. But don't judge another person just because they don't want to step in your box with you. I don't want to be small. I'm profound. 5D, there's no religions because God is everything. God is all. God is every single person before you, regardless of what they choose to call themselves in that moment or express themselves in that moment or explore themselves in that moment. There's no... Take the words off of everything because the words are attached to experiences of trauma. Experience of trauma. When you say religion to anybody or God to anybody, there's that little trigger. Because everybody on this planet has to transmute their religious trauma. Everybody. Because there's been so much corruption in religion. Been so much religion. It's so judgmental. Saying that one person can go up and have a piece of bread and other people can't. That's separatism. It's either love or it isn't. I honor the body of the Christ. I don't eat those breads and I don't have the wines. And yet I'm absolutely one with Jesus. Jesus walks inside my body. So I challenge it all. I'm going to challenge it all, and it's going to piss some people off. I don't care. We have to see beyond it, dear lighted ones, because we're accepting everything before us. Everything before us is love. Everything before us is God. And there's a lot of wounding and there's a lot of traumas. A lot of woundings, a lot of traumas, and a lot of judgments we place on people just because they want to have a like on a comment. So, you're going to put a like on a comment. Stop judging people. Everybody is one. The people before you are one. And as you get to a higher consciousness, you'll see, wow, God is everything. I just wanted to explore that one little pocket of Catholicism. And I loved those rituals. I used to do those rituals. Those were really great. It's a part of who I am. I accept those stories. But I want to see the grander experience of who I am. Everybody's religion is accepted. Everybody is a part of God, however they want to practice it. So let them practice it. When you get to 5D, you'll be able to practice whatever you want because you're not so stuck in that tiny little box that you want to stay stuck in. You're going to know that the all is the all. You'll still carry your prayers. You'll still carry your rosaries. You'll still have whatever is important to you. But you'll see everybody before you without the definitions. You'll see everybody before you as brothers and sisters as it should be, whether they're humanoid or whether they're an angelic. If an angel is before you, make no mistake about this, because a lot of people that are in religion know angels. And they pray to angels when they're in trouble. They pray to angels when they're sick. They pray to angels when their children are sick. Every angel is a collective of energy. Every angel has been a part of every single religion. Angels don't give somebody healing just because they believe in Catholicism or Buddhism or Presbyterian or Scientology. Angels will heal because there's that pure intention to feel better. Do you see what I'm saying? So if angels are not judgmental on that way, why can we not be that way? We're matching heavens now, spirit, as spirit. Spirit says, match me. Any miracle is willing for you. Any miracle, anything that you want to experience is there for you. Will you match God? Will you match Source? Will you take the definitions and the boxes off of who you are? Will you take those tight clothings off? And will you stop wrapping your life in small, judgmental experiences and let people be who they want to be? Practice what they want to practice as long as they're staying in their own lane. When you start putting mind control, when you start messing with people's mail, when you start harassing them and stalking them, when you start playing with their hacking accounts, when you start doing spell work on them every day to make them be small and suicidal, that is interference on every fucking level. And that's not okay. That's saying that you absolutely think you're better than them and you're going to dominate and you're going to say how their life goes and narrate it right from beginning to end. That's slavery. And nobody has that right. And those are part of dogmatic healings. Of people telling you who you should be, who you should believe in. And if you don't believe in, if you're not going to come and be with my cult, and you're not going to come and be with my group, and if you're not going to give me your light, meanwhile, I was doing all the work. I was the one coming up with all the ideas. They were using my light, groups of people using and harvesting my light so that they could manifest riches and fool people, cause chaos and create false narratives. So not only were they bullying me, not only were they putting me down, not only were they doing spell work on me and bringing me to hell every day, I had to work 10 times as hard to have my voice heard because my accounts were blocked and shadow banned. But they were getting all they wanted off my light. They were getting all they wanted off my inheritances. How's that okay? Is that not discrimination on every level? Is that not saying, Joanna, you're going to be exactly who we want you to be? You can't be anything the way you want to be. No, I'm going to be exactly who the fuck God made me. I'm going to speak on everything that God gives me because there's a lot of corruption on this planet. And a lot of corruption from the city I came from. It was corrupt. People had their hands in everything. I know truth. I speak fucking truth. I know truth. And God will keep putting me in front of people until we wake up. We are one. We are a family of one. Take the boxes off. If you're happy in the practice that you practice, be it. But know there's more. Know that you are more. Know that there's far more that God wants to show you, and know you that God is everything and God is all people. God is all things. You can have a tremendously organic, incredible experience of God at the top of a mountain and not believe and have any faith behind you at all, but the faith that you are a part of God. That's all you need. God is God. Release the boxes. Take the words off that bring in those energetic traumas. You don't need them. You can heal from that and move on into bigger things. Doesn't matter what you practice, we're all one. Because you will meet species that aren't going to be humanoid. Can you accept them? Do you accept dogs the same as you accept cats? Do you accept the trees the same as the water? Are we taking care of the water equally that we're taking care of our bodies? There is a lot of judgment and a lot of corruption on the relationship of who we are with everything in life, and everything is God. Everything is spirit. It has nothing to do with religion. We've placed our experiences with words, and those words have traumas, and those words have experiences, those words have beliefs, those words have teachings, those words have patterns, those words are part of the matrix. When you step outside the matrix, like, wow, I can have an organic, cosmic, galactic, orgasmic experience of God. When the chakras are completely aligned and it's just you and God breathing together. I know God, I know spirit. And I'm going to start to express in new and different and profound ways, because we are one. Happy, practice what you're practicing, just stay in your own lane. And don't judge anybody because they want to bring God in new different ways. Let them. We're going to be expressing God, especially the hybridized children, all of these. We're talking about hybridized programs, because how we're going to be creating an expression, how we're going to be coming forward with our expressions, with new languages, with new ways to learn, is because of the unique DNA that will be activated. So the hybridized programs are needed. It's required, and why we've been talking about the multi-species creative expressions, because it's meant to activate the grids, because we will be one of the most diverse planets in all the galaxies. So it's really, really exciting, and why we've been prepared. That's why we've been talking about what we've been talking about. Hybridized children that are coming to the planet, they're not going to know, they're going to know, they've been taught and they'll be briefed on religion, but will you accept them? Will you accept a child that doesn't want to maybe learn the religion that you've been taught and brought up in? Will you accept them fully and love them unconditionally? So love everybody else. Take the words off of things. They don't mean anything. God is all. God is all. God is all. You can sit on a log and have a profound God experience. No church around you, no pastor, no guy in a white coat, nothing. You can be with God in any fucking moment. Any moment, any breath is God. All breath is God. All breath activates light within you. All things are God. You activate healing through breath. That's God. That's how you activate the Shekinah. That is the essence of all life throughout the omnipresent. That is the omni fields, is the Shekinah. That is the spirit of God. That's how we know who we are as spirit, and we read the fields. We read that Shekinah. That is the God essence. That is how we read. That's how we connect with the fields of the consciousness. When we're reading the collective temperature, when we're doing a temperature check on the collective, we do that because the fields are holding the collective energies. They're holding the collective stories. So that's why when I bring something forward as a collective energy, as a collective story, it's the collective feeling, and I can tap into what the collective is going through. And then I bring out a story that everybody can relate to, and then we bring a higher vibrational resonance so that we can transcend it. We're meant to transcend it. See yourself different every day. Have that excitement to see yourself different every day, and still love yourself in every way. If you made a judgment on somebody, go to them and say, I made a judgment about you. I'm so sorry. I'm moving through my stuff. I'm looking forward to accepting myself fully. I'm working on these stories that I was brought up with. Offer yourself to creation in that beautiful, genuine, authentic, vulnerable way. Because you don't know everything. You're meant to be fifth dimensional, and fifth dimensional is not third dimensional. Third dimensional is packed with judgment. Third dimensional is packed with your separation from spirit, separation of yourself, separation of your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical experiences. Then when you go through those soul fragments, you're going to see exactly the darkest parts that you've judged. Make no mistake about it. That's why you have soul fragment healing. That's why you have dark nights of the soul. That's surrendering your ego. That's when the ego gets the ego death. You have to have those, because your ego cannot guide you through fifth dimension. Your ego will not be the driver in fifth dimension. It just won't. You need spirit. The alignment with spirit will guide you through everything, the alliance with light. And that's my fourth book. I came through everything I came through because of the alliance with light. That's all you need. Manifest, healing your body, healing new perspectives, healing yourself beyond those challenges and those difficulties. That's the only way to see yourself beyond that, is the alliance with light. You are aligned with light. And so, the celestial reading. So yes, I tapped in with the celestials for the celestials, and we wanted to bring that. That was very appropriate, because allow yourself to speak up in positive. Remember, if you're going to speak up to the collective in positive, offer positive resolve. See beyond it. Everybody has the right to explore and express who they are, as long as they're not going to interfere with anybody else's soul design with God. God knows exactly what you're going through, why you're going through it. And if you have to have, like Spirit said, especially for those that are healers, it's really hard for us to back off and let people go through a lot of trouble. But Spirit will tell you, as you ask yourself, what is my part in this transaction? You're not meant to help everybody all the time. You're not meant to. They can't learn and be their very best if you're not healing and allowing others to step up into their own power. Even if your power was taken from you by a lot of people because they wanted you to be less than, they wanted you to be broken, they wanted you to be, just as they are as a vibration. But you can see beyond that, you can transcend beyond it, and then you can be something new. But you can transcend those experiences. You're meant to. And Spirit will not let you help everybody all the time. Spirit will say, no, you need to back off. That's why you need to ask, as a healer, as a reader, as a spiritualist, whatever it is that you're choosing to do in alignment with 5D, what is my part in this transaction? You might have, Spirit might say, you just need to send them away. They're not ready. They'll have that conversation with you. If they're before you, they're before you for a reason. It might be for your testing. So that's why always know there is a design and a divine plan that's beyond what you think you know. So don't think you know everything. Don't think that anybody before you have the answers, because you really don't. You need to hold the open space for whatever to happen and ask Spirit to be that guide and that force with you. Allow the Shikana to live with you through your appointments, and always return and surrender to the higher source. What is my part in that transaction? That's how you know you're benevolent to the greater good, not your will, not your ego. And if you're in that ego experience as a healer, then you need to do some work, because it's not about you. It should never be about you. If it is about you, then you're not allowing the full essence of source to flow through you. It's ego. And ego will shut you down, and your guides will shut you down until you're ready to learn those lessons, and you'll probably have an ego death or a dark night of the soul. And that's purposeful too. It's all needed. It's all required. But know that your guides are there for you, because you're meant to learn your lessons too. Who do you give to? How do you give? How much energy do you give? How much information do you give? Sometimes the people before you take your information and use it against you. That's what happened to me. I thought I was being benevolent. I thought I was being kind. But the people before me just used it. They just used me. They used the information against me. They took my information and gave it to the head ringleader, and then they used it against me to switch all the spells and the energy up to break me. They took that information and they used it against me. So they knew what they were doing. They were very intentional, and they were very malicious with it. And so that's why now there's borders, and there's no tolerance. That's why there's guidelines. That's why there's people that will see me will be pure of heart, and Spirit won't send me anybody else. But you'll have those times where you'll be tested, as a teacher and a healer. You want to test the energies before you, and know that you can navigate anything, nothing to be fearful about. Stand in your power, reclaim your power, reclaim your voice, reclaim your choice, and know that you're going through experiences, you're going through lessons, so that you can also stand in your power. You can also stand in the person that you are and say, no, these things need to be heard and said, because it's what everybody is thinking, and it needs to be said in a beautiful, higher vibrational way that we can all transcend the limitations of what the boxes we've placed on. And it can be done in a positive, loving resolve, where there are no spiritual wars. There doesn't need to be. Everybody can practice the all. Why can't we just practice the all being the all? Why can't we? Why can't we practice the all being the all? Just be respectful of everybody's place of where they are in their consciousness. There's people at a very low vibrational consciousness because they're very wounded, and they don't want to go through the healing process. Spirit will awaken them regardless. They'll keep going through the ego death until they are surrendering fully to Spirit. And it'll take however many ego deaths it will, because Ascension won't stop. Everybody has a set of guides. God knows exactly what's going on with every person. God knows exactly the wounding they're working from and all the other realms that they're working from. So God's got teams and beings all over it. Make no mistake about that. So don't worry about that. You've always got teams. You've always got beings. You're always going to be on track. Your guides are always meant to align you. As long as you're listening, as long as you're heeding Spirit, you will always be on the right track. And sometimes you will take those deviations because you want to learn about those things. You have to put yourself in other people's shoes. That's why I went through what I went through. It just prolonged and delayed. It shouldn't have gone on as long as it did. I was meant to have some of those experiences, just not for the length of time, because people got greedy and they wanted dominance and control because they knew who I was and my name carried clout. But it didn't need to continue. There was a complete abhorrent disrespect and discrimination and harassment against God, against me as being a being of light. And it was quite overkill. But you have to understand, when is enough, right? We're going to transcend all of these things in very positive, loving, hopeful ways. It's just allowing yourself to see things from a new perspective. So the celestial reading today is the Caledonians came in. I think I channeled them a couple of times. And so they said, get excited to be with us in the journey, and you'll see synchronicities that will tell you when we are near. So again, they said, so they were giving me these really good tips, which I didn't even think of, but I've done it in my own way. Get excited about how and when you'll see these beings. What will they look like? I wonder what they're going to sound like. I wonder what their voices sound like. Start wondering about those things when you're thinking about first contact and getting excited. Just like a family reunion, they said to me. If you have this family reunion that's planned for the end of August and all of your family from all over the world come to this one family reunion, that's what it's going to be like. So think about all those things you get excited. I haven't seen them in like 15 years. I wonder what they're going to look like. Have those anticipations. Have the anticipations of your family. Have the anticipations of remembering light language just out of nowhere, or remembering a game that you played on another planet, because you have those memories. That's the hybridization, multiverse species that will help us. And that's why I've been saying in my videos, we have to think beyond 3D as far as our creative expression. Everybody's meant to level up and step out, because we're, as an expression of 5D, it's not going to be 3D. So that's why I'm constantly bringing new things forward, because the 5D expression is not 3D. And we have to get used to being 5D. And it's not going to be like 3D, right? You can't keep expressing yourself in the same way and then accept yourself as a changed being, because you're not. You're practicing the same thing, but you're expecting change. So again, change and evolution is everything, because you're going to activate the DNA. You're going to activate a memory in your mental field, your physical field, your emotional field, or your vibrational field, or your spiritual field, and your chakras get activated and your DNA gets activated. So there's an infinite number of activations that catalyze and cascade onto the other parts of the field. So you have to be willing to take that step out, right? You will feel the excitement, just as if you're going on a family reunion or an event or an anticipation, wondering what they will look like, what they will sound like, how your experience will be with them in the new ways that you can learn from each other. Think about the curiosity of their vibration. So if you think, I can't wait to meet my teams, I wonder what their vibration will feel like, I wonder what it's going to be like to be with them, think about the vibration, because that will draw them near, and you'll notice them coming near to you. Like I had an experience the other day, it was incredible. It was only lasted a couple of seconds, but as I closed my eyes, I saw all of the beings. There was like thousands of these beings that were coming in all different forms, all different shapes, all different sizes, and they all had different beliefs and different perspectives. This is what I mean about these earthly experiences that we go to are quite trite. When you think about the vastness of all billions of planets that are out there that we're going to be harmonizing and living in oneness with. So we really have to get over the pettiness. We really have to get over the small-minded playground rules that place separation and smallness on anybody. Allow everybody their exploration. They're allowed to look different. They're allowed to feel different. They're allowed to explore themselves as different. And again, the law of right use of will, free will, and non-interference. Number one law. Number one law. But if you get triggered, or if you get triggered by something in a post, that's your trigger. That's your trigger, so deal with it. Heal it. I am who I am. If my beingness triggers you, deal with what you're being triggered, because I'm offering a higher vibrational energy of truth. It doesn't have to be your truth, but there's something in there that is triggering you because you have a belief that needs to come forward and show itself to you. That's what the triggers do. What do I believe about this? How do I feel about this? You don't have to take anything on. I'm not asking anybody to. I don't care about anybody in that way. I don't care what people think or believe or take on. I don't care. You're meant to see and look and suss out. That's the awakening. I emit a pure energy. I emit pure higher truth. Pure higher truth of allness of one. All is God. Period. No definitions, no boxes. It's all God. Everybody has the way they navigate those consciousness experiences in that bandwidth. Once they do their healing, they're going to see themselves in different ways. They're going to see everybody else in different ways. That's the process of awakening. That's why you're going to see more in the sky. You're going to see more light ships. You're going to feel more energy before you. That's why they said, be curious. Be curious about different religions. Be curious about different ways people practice. It doesn't make it right or wrong if they're not interfering and not harming anybody. It's just the way they need to experience that. And even those that harm people, and even those that have done harm to people, they had to go through that harm to know the equal response of what it feels like. Because when you harm another, you harm yourself. You have to heal your soul in harming somebody. You don't just walk away and say goodbye. No, whether it's death or whether it's in your afterlife, you have to heal that soul fragment. You have to heal that soul. Your teams will show you that harm that was done. They'll show it to you in a multi-vibrational way. You'll see the bruising on the soul. That's how conduits see. That was a soul wound. I see the bruise. I see the bruise. It's a wound. Those woundings need to be healed. Heal the wounds. Corruption, crime, violence, not necessary. It all can be healed. And we can see things from a higher perspective. Be higher consciousness beings. What bandwidth of consciousness are you working within? Don't rush. Why are you there? Why is in front of you what is in front of you? Why did you get triggered? Why did you get triggered? What is your belief that can be expanded? Look at the wound, look at the trigger, face it, acknowledge it, accept it, bring it in. That's a soul fragment. Bring that in for acceptance. The 3 A's of Ascension. When you get triggered, go to the 3 A's. Acknowledgement, acceptance, and allowance. Can I acknowledge this as a part of me? Can I accept this as a part of me? Can I allow this as part of me? Because it's part of your 3 E's of Ascension. Am I exploring myself fully? Am I expressing myself fully? Am I experiencing myself fully? Why is it okay if they get to do it and you not? Or you get to do it and they not? Just like me. Why was I discriminated against and bullied for all of those years, taken from and stolen from, blocked on all my platforms? It was okay for everybody else to express who they was, the rich white male, but for me it wasn't. Why is that okay? That's total discrimination. And I have higher vibrational wisdoms. I'm able to heal people. I'm able to heal people with my words. I'm able to click things in their mental, emotional, and physical and DNA body and just click things where they feel differently the next day. I know what I bring. I bring the Christ energy. I bring the God energy. I bring the Shekinah. I know who I am. That's what I bring. I get that. I know that. I'm excited. That's why I teach what I teach. That's why I offer what I offer. I was born a teacher. I was born a healer. I know who I am. And I'm here to activate. I'm here to help people transcend. I'm here to help people heal dysfunction. I'm here to help people see toxicity and things in a different way so that they can move on and maybe see life in a different way, see themselves in a more grand way, see themselves as a part of God's divine plan. You're a part of the divine plan that's needed on every little fragment of that sacred geometry. Everyone is needed. Everyone's perspective is needed as the all of God. And as they awaken and as they transcend, they will see God in new and different ways. It will be different for everybody on this planet that goes through Ascension. That is the beauty of God. God wants every single person to have their own unique exploration, expression, and experience of God. Nobody's meant to explore God the same way. Nobody's meant to express God in the same way. Nobody's meant to experience God in the same way. So those satanic moments are needed. Those anti-Semitic moments are needed. They're all needed. It's all God. Don't judge them. Let them explore what they want to explore, as long as they're not interfering with anybody, right? If they're interfering with somebody, then you have that right to say, no, I wish you not to interfere with me. My energy is my energy. That's your belief. That's great. Go and do what you want to do, but stay out of my energy. So you got to know your borders. You got to know your boundaries and say, no, okay, that's you. That's fine. You can go. I accept you. You're part of God, but now this is me, right? My energy is my energy. You can't take it. My energy is mine. I worked hard for it. And so what else did they say? I can't see. There's only one more sentence here. What do they say? Oh yeah, so be curious about us in your fields, because they're going to be coming, and just ask. I work with my teams every week. Just say, can I have a couple of new vibrational experiences this week that I've never felt before? So, because I want to test my sensing skills. Again, your multidimensional creative expressions, you're a vessel of communication. You receive information and you express information. That's why expression is so important to healing. But you're going to be able to discern different gifts, communicate different gifts in different ways. As we said, the hybridized programs and the multiverse species. If you want to have a class, my links are below, or a session, because there's a lot in there. Our monthly classes go through a lot, and those are usually for the advanced clients that are teachers and healers already, and leaders preparing themselves for leaderships. And so they said the hybridized gifts are being activated within those that are meant to be within the hybridized programs, like myself, because we're meant to be speaking and connecting and communicating, receiving and sending information to multiverse species. So that's why there's many groups that are ready and excited to work with me, because I'm able to communicate with the various species. The insectoids, the Caledonians, these ones are, this channel is from the Caledonians. I did a couple of channels on them before. So again, the curiosity that's in your vibrational field, just be okay. Don't ever have fear about whatever is in your field. Know that you have to clear your field up. It's your responsibility to clear your field. It's your responsibility to clear your energies. It's your responsibility to clear your chakras and your womb energy, whether you're a man or you're a woman, because you have different lifetimes where you were a woman and you had traumas to your womb. And then the male energies as well. Clear out your sexual centers, have those healing dynamic programs of your healing. It's your responsibility to commandmentship of your multidimensional bodies and fields. And there's lots of meditations online on YouTube. There's different levels of contacts, and there's different phases of contact. So we're going to be talking about this a lot more, like right now in the near future, because again, everybody is at like a different bandwidth of their consciousness. Remember, everybody has a different temperament and pacing of the consciousness bandwidth that they sit within. Sometimes it's a wide bandwidth, because they can flow. I have a wide bandwidth. I can read wide bandwidth experiences. That's why sometimes when consciousnesses speak to me, the angelic consciousness is a bandwidth, a huge bandwidth, because they're on all dimensions and all vibrational realms. They know how to contract their consciousness and they know how to expand it. So depending if they want to call in more beings from other multiverses, they can expand it to bring that thread in, and I can tell. I can tell when there's a thread of consciousness that's not from this universe. They show me. They show me if it's not from this universe, that it's just my own unique way. And you'll get to know your own unique way of reading energy. So practice. You have to practice, start practicing, because we're vessels of communication, point blank. There's no reason why anybody should be bored, because we have such multi-dimensional vibrational experiences as vessels of sending communication and receiving communication. It's constant. The phones are never, they said to me, the phones, their communication phone line is never turned off. We're the ones that shut it off. You know, it's just like that big switchboard back in the olden days. My granny used to work at one of those switchboards, and those switchboards, you pull the wire off and you plug it in when you want to connect. They're always connected. It's always a communication process. They're always connected. We're the ones that close it down because the ego gets fearful. The ego doesn't feel confident in itself. The ego doesn't think it's communicating properly. Most people have never been taught how to work their fields, how to connect with their fields, how to communicate with spirit, in spirit, as their higher self. Most of them shut off that inner voice because it's not practiced on our 3D outer world. The outer world completely ignores consciousness. The outer world thinks consciousness and the higher consciousness and spirit is a trend or a fad or religion. And it's not. It's all life. Source is all life. It has nothing to do with religion. We've placed God in a religious box, but God is everything. God is the spirit of all life. God is the healing of your cells. God is the breath of all breath. God is the majesty of the oceans. God is the majesty of everything everywhere. God is the majesty of the Pleiadians planet that brings you that Pleiadian experience right here and now. That's God. So we don't necessarily have to limit it. To become more specific, oh yes, so again, the dreams and the trust your sensing, because again, the gifts and your skills and abilities are going to be shifting. So it was trust how you sense the energies in your field, and then just ask for it. Who's in my field right now? And then your teams will tell you. Again, if you're in touch and tune with your higher self and your guides will tell you, because your guides want to test you with different energies. You know, you want to be a master. You don't just want one energy. You want to be able to play with the different energies and know why they're there with you, especially if you're going to be a multi-vessel communicator, like myself as a channel of the multiverse. You're going to have these different experiences with different energies that aren't going to feel, like they said, tangy. Sometimes they might feel tangy, sometimes they might feel a bit abrasive, because their energy vibration, like the Plutonians, when the Plutonians first came in contact with me, I see and I feel things and I get vibrations in different ways depending on how their vibration will connect with me. They're a very gentle, very, very soft and subtle being. So I saw them as a color first, but they're very, very sweet and they're very standoffish. They're very patient, soft, gentle souls, but they're very powerful. They sit in that powerful, subtle, soft and gentleness. We've not experienced that on this planet. And so it was really interesting for me to work with their energy because they're very soft, but they're very powerful. And that's a very beautiful experience, the Plutonians. And they're way far out in the end of the galaxy, we would think, because they're so far out and they're so small, but they're very, very powerful beings. And they told me one time, they said, we find humans very aggressive. And so we're learning how to become different, and we're learning how to become more godly-like. And there are those moments where you're called to be more assertive and more abrasive, because those energies haven't got what no means. You know, like me, people have seen me really transform over the last 6 or 7 years because I've had to be, because there's people and energies and entities that don't respect my boundaries. Because again, it's the wounding for the divine feminine. Divine feminine have not been seen as respected leaders. There's a lot of misogyny and oligarchy that we're healing on our planet. So when I say no, it doesn't mean no until it's like the 100 millionth time and you've got a legal team behind you. And then people start to stand up and listen, or God brings a huge catastrophe and say, okay, well, maybe she speaks some truth. It just shouldn't have to get to that. Why can't no mean no the very first time I say it? Why can't that be right? Why can't the divine feminine be heard the first time she says something? Or a child. When a child says no, it means no. Don't touch the child's body. If anybody that you know, or any groups that you know, are having sex or harming a child, stand up for that child and speak for that child. It's not okay. If there's sexual things going on with a child, it's not okay. Do the healing. Because that child, that soul is wounded, and that child has a lifetime of healing that child has to do to heal itself because of an adult's wounded choice. And that adult didn't have to choose that. And that's what's going on in the underground. And all of that will be brought up because those children deserve better. They deserve those parents and those adults to look after them and protect them. And just because the divine feminine is bringing these things forward, because it has to be sorted out, these children will no longer be abused. I'm calling judgment on everybody that is doing what they know that they shouldn't be doing, and they've had years to go to healing, they've had years to make it right, and they're continuing to do those things because they know that there's deep wounds that they should have healed. You can heal those wounds. You don't have to harm another child because you want a sexual toy. Get out from the pornography, get out from the underground crap, and heal it. Heal it. It needs to be healed. Those children don't deserve to walk around messed up and fucked up and end up on the street because they're too damaged. I know how it feels. And I'm here to help that. I'm here to transcend those toxicities. I'm here to transcend those woundings because it's not necessary. Sex with children is not okay. It's not okay. They're pure, precious beings. It's not okay. Anybody that thinks it's okay, there's deep wounding that needs to be done. Make no mistake about that. Those that are doing those things were absolutely wounded in their childhood, and they chose not to heal. They chose to get pulled in by the lust entities and the lust demons and continue an underground lifestyle. Pornography and poly lifestyles and polygamy and multiple marriages and multiple this and multiple that, because the demon just wants to be fed. And as many ways as they can get it, that's how they feed, because energy is energy and life force is life force. But the children certainly don't need to be harmed or harvested or taken from in any way. And I'm going to call judgment, and I'm not going to stop talking about it. Trafficking is a real thing, whether it's a mother, whether it's a child. Nobody has the right to tap into anybody else's energy. Nobody has the right to read on anybody that they don't have permission from. Anybody that's doing cards on me, you don't have that right. You don't have that permission. And you're going to get false stories. You're going to get false reads because I call you on it. Nobody has permission to read on me, my astrology chart or anything else. You don't have permission. My energy is my energy. I call judgment. Understand the laws, dear lighted ones. I'm not going to stop speaking about it because everybody has their divine birthright. And we got to start leveling up to sacred life. Everybody's life is sacred. And nobody has the authority to run controlling narratives on what anybody should or should not do, what anybody should not share with. If you haven't earned it with Source or with God, you're not going to get it. Period. Point blank. It's an equation. Are you being good and goodwill to all? Are you being in honor of the universal laws? Are you just expecting people to give you things because you're selfish and wounded? Heal your wounds. There's a huge, huge energy on our planet of narcissism, and narcissism needs to be healed. Narcissism is in and of itself childhood wounding. The not my fault disease. Go and heal your wounds because you're accountable for your life, you're accountable for your creation, and you're accountable. Don't harm the children because you're wounded. Go heal your wounds. The children deserve better, and I'm calling everybody on it. It's time, people. Get off the fence and get healed. This is our planet, and we deserve to be 5D. So level up. The Caledonians, call upon your teams to start negotiating and being curious about energy. Be curious about the energies. We're meant to be curious about energies, knowing how to stand in your power, stand in your light, navigate energies in a beautiful, profound way. If you're operating from a beautiful, loving, curious, excited way to meet energies, you're going to meet those energies that are excited to meet you. If you meet them from a very fearful base, you're going to meet energies that want to bring that fear to you. It's just an equal equation, right? The equation. So again, positive, negative, and neutral. If you're neutral about everything, then everything will just be all is God. And you have that right because God will have you placed to do what you're meant to do, speak truth, break up corruption, break up 3D matrix programs. That's what crystalline children do. We break up programs. We bring in higher light. We bring in higher resolve. We bring in activations for the people. We bring in ways that hope and promise and healing can be made. We bring in higher resolve. We bring in higher resolve programs. We work with politics. We work with education. We work with this. We work with that because there is higher resolve that we're meant to ascend to. We're not going to remain 3D. Corruption must be bathed and everything will be brought up. And it's between every individual, every home, every community, everything will be bathed. Ascension won't stop. And all the light workers have their birthright to be heard, to be seen, to have their accounts left alone. Every light worker, especially especially the colored community of the spiritual realm. Because there's some profound women of color and their accounts have been messed with right from day one. And they're some of the most purely aligned, intuitive women. It's their time to come forward and have their accounts not be messed with. Have their accounts not be fucked with. just like my account. There's no reason. It's discrimination on every level, and everybody's being called out. Spirit and the legions of the heavens and the millions of beings that are coming on my behalf. There's energies working behind the scenes that are on my behalf, because I speak for all the women that didn't make it. I speak for the children that didn't make it. I speak for the children that are being abused, that don't have that voice, because they're being corrupted, they're being mind bent, their energies are being sucked out of them, their bodies are being messed around, and I'm that voice. We are going to heal this corruption. Everything is healable. So get right, people. If you see something that doesn't look right or feel right, call it. Trust your intuition. Trust your gut. Trust your sensing. Trust who you are as a multidimensional being. God will send you those experiences. God will send them to you in your dreams. God will send whatever God needs to send you. Listen, your guides are your guides. Your guides know what they're doing. Your guides know your soul blueprint. Your guides know who you are. Trust who you are as spirit. Don't surrender to anybody else outside of you, or what their will or their character for you and their story is. Surrender to none. Never bow to a lesser God. You and God, that's it. That's all you need. Your alliance with light. It'll take you anywhere. I know that, dear lighted ones. Our links are below. We love you so very much. Have a very good sleep. Know that we're going to have these beautiful celestial experiences, and why we go through everything we go through in our collective. We're going through everything we're going through in our collective because we need to heal them before we meet our first contact teams. Our first contact teams has no judgment about anything that we believe in on this planet. They understand it's all a part of navigating source. It's all a part of knowing who you are in that moment that you can navigate source without judgment on yourself. So allow yourself to accept, unconditionally accept who you are. Unconditionally accept all. All perspectives are real because it's all spirit. It's all spirit. Allow people their exploration. And call what doesn't feel right. Call what is harming someone. The right use of free will, non-interference. Number one law. If the number one law is honored, then the number two law of balance, will always be in alignment. Every child deserves balance. Every child deserves a safe home. Every child deserves, when they say no, it means no. Don't touch a child's body. If they say no, and they're going to say no, and even if they don't say no, don't touch a child's body. That's not in a loving and caring and honoring way. And sexual promiscuity is not okay. Children watching pornography is not okay. It's warping the spirit. It's warping their sense of importance. It's warping their sense of value in who they are and their life force. So let's hold ourselves a little bit higher, because our children deserve better, dear lighted ones. And I can't be the only one on the planet talking about it. It has nothing to do with religion. It's about who we are as sacred beings. We are precious and we are sacred. So let's get right. I love you, dear lighted ones. Align with love and ground. Okay, dear lighted ones. Love you. Rainbow hugs and kisses.